Welcome to this video, everyone. Let's continue working in Figma. So in this video, we're going to talk about the typing tool. Okay, we are still coming back to this creation tool, but let's focus on this typing tool for now. So I'm going to click on F on my keyboard to draw a frame. Okay, and I'm going to rename it to Typography. So press Ctrl R on your keyboard, and then you see that this place is highlighted, so you can rename it to anything that you like. I'm going to call it Typography for now. All right, so if you want to type in your design, if you want to add text in your design, just click on this T. Or you can click on this drop down icon to see the option available. We have text and we have text to path. This text to path is not really common in design. We are still going to talk about it briefly, but we are going to be dealing with text mainly, okay? And with text, you have so many properties with it. So I'm going to click on text now, and then you will see these add icons showing me that I can now add text to anywhere on my Canva or on my artboard. All right. So I want to add a text here, and I want to write hello world, just like we do in programming. Hello world. Okay. So when you finish typing, just click somewhere else. Then you will see that it's now selected. That means you have finished typing. Okay. Now this frame that we draw is too big. Okay, so I want to reduce the size. Now, the size that I draw is 3,613 by this number, this 2,868. So I'm going to reduce it I'm going to resize it to 1440. Don't forget that is the size of the regular desktop frame. By what? By any pixel that you like, but let's go with 1008 now. Okay, so I'm going to click on this hello word that we typed earlier. I'm just going to click it and drag it to the center here. Okay. So here you see we have so many properties here. We have this font family, right? This font. You can change the font here. You have line height. You have this font size. We have letter spacing and so much more. And we are going to cover almost all of them in detail in this video. So I'm going to zoom in now, okay? So as I zoom in now, what I want to do first is I want to change the size. You can see the typography here is set to enter. That's the Figma default. I'm going to make it, let's make it 24 first. That's this small somehow. Let's make it 40. Okay, good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this typography frame, and I'm going to make it like this color, this dark blue, okay? So we have, in fact, I'm going to set it to this color 050020. Okay, this particular shade of blue 050020. That's the color code. So I'm going to select the text inside. You can hardly see it now. So I'm going to select the text to white. White is FFF. Then press enter like this. Now we can see it once again. So we have a lot of stuff here. You can see on this layout, we have sizing, we have all this auto height. In fact, let's start from there. So if you click on your text, if you click outside, you will not be seeing all this thing. You just be seeing the Figma empty Canva on the design panel. But if you click on the text, you will see the property that all the text has. You can see we have the text, we have position, we have the alignment, and all of this one. We are coming to alignment later on. But for now, let's deal with this layout and this sizing because they are very important. The first option that we have is auto width. So this auto width now, what does it mean? Auto width just means that your text is going from left to right, right? It's going horizontally. So if I click on typing now, the text will be increasing horizontally. So let me just say, hello world. We are UI. I can't type UX today. UX designer. Okay. And let me just say, and blah, 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 blah. So I can be typing out from one point to another, and the direction is going what? Horizontally, from left to right. That's the meaning of, that's auto width. And then we have auto height. Now look at the auto height. Auto height is the opposite of the auto width, okay? So this is how it works. Let me delete all of this nonsense here, okay? So if you are on auto width, you know it's going horizontally, but auto height is going vertically, okay? Now, if I continue typing now, the text will be increasing vertically. So let's say, and we are learning about Figma. Okay? And you can see as I'm typing, there's this particular blue lines that is showing the edges of the text. Okay? This is used to denote the line height. And we are coming to that. But just keep that in mind because you will need it when we are talking about the last one, which is the fixed size. Okay, now this one is going what? Horizontally, and this one is going vertically. Okay? And if this one is going vertically, you can see that there's no way you can adjust the height again because the height is based on the lines of the text. That means if I add another line now, the line will be, the height will be increased automatically. That is why Figma disabled this height. What that means is that you can't add any height here, but you can adjust the width like this. Okay. On the same token too, if you're on like this, you can adjust the width, you can adjust the height because the width is now based on how much the text is going to be. All right. So I'm going to press Ctrl Z now to undo the last action. And then let's go to the auto width now. I mean the fixed size. So this fixed size now, if you click on it, look at what happens now. Nothing seems to happen, right? But something has happened because we have changed it from auto height to auto width to fixed size. So this fixed size just means that this is the size of the text. And if you click on, if you continue typing now, we can type actually, but then nothing will increase. We are learning about Figma because Figma is the most commonly used. So you can see now that this particular line stop here, right? Because this is the fixed size. So the height is fixed and the width is fixed for here. And this is useful when you are designing a particular interface and you want to give a maximum character for the user to be able to enter. All right, that's where it comes in 90. Okay, but most of the time you're going to be working with this auto width and auto size. And these layout settings, they come in handy when we're talking about auto layout. Okay, and that's the advanced way of organizing your stuff in Figma. And we are coming to that in a bit. So I'm going to just remove all of this one for now. Let me set it to auto height. You can see when I put it to auto height now, the height adjusts automatically. And if I put it to auto width now, it's going to what? Everything is going to be vertically. All right, please keep that in mind and you can play around with this. So I'm going to remove all of this one for now. Okay, so we know about the appearance. Okay, if you just like normal layout, if you decrease the opacity, then the alpha amount decreases. The same thing if you hide it, it will be hidden. And then we have this advanced one for everything, and that's the blending mode. We are coming to that later when we talk about image. But for now, let's go to the typography setting because this is where most of the settings are located. And you can also come to this place if you press on this Figma icon here, and you can see you have text. Under the text, you have some options. You can make it bold. You have italic, underline, strike through, create link, bullet list, number list, alignment, adjust, case, text direction, and so much more. And you also can spell check based on the language available that has been installed in Figma by default. But what we have interesting is all of here because all of these things are here. They're also here. So let's focus on this place because this place seems closer to us. So now we have the first thing, which is the font family. So the one that we have here is Inter. So we have Inter. You can also put any font that is available in your Figma. You can see we have Intem, we have Italian, Stock Web, and so on and so forth. The fonts that are very common in UI design are Montserrat. Okay. This one is common among designer, whether you are UI designer, you are graphic designer, you'll be working with Montserrat. You'll be working with Manrope. I like this font, Manrope. Yes, you'll be working with Manrope. You'll be working with Lato. Okay. You'll be working with Noto Sans and so much more. Okay. This is most of these fonts that I'm showing you are Google fonts. If I let me show you Google font interface now. So if you go to fonts.google.com, if I just type Google font like this on your Google font, then you'll be taken to Google font like this. So here now you can see if we have Inter. This is the one that is Figma default. We have Open Sans. We have Roboto. This Roboto 2 is very, very common. Very, very common. We have BJ Cree. We have Edu, What, I mean, all of these fonts are available in Figma. By default, it's synced with Figma application. But if you're on, I think the same thing with Figma Web too. If you're working with Figma on the web, that's why I recommend the application. Always use the application. So you can come here and take inspiration about how a font look like. For example, we have Google Sans, we have Montserrat, I think I already showed you that one. Yeah, we have Poppins. Poppins is very common. We have Lato, I've shown you Lato, Noto Sans. We have Oswald. Let's play with this Oswald. So you go to Figma now, you can see the way this one looks like. It's different from the way this one looks like. So you go to Figma now and type Oswald. Oswald. You can see that it has changed. All right. So you can get inspiration from that. And then one thing that I remember that I need to tell you before you move on is that in font, we have serif and we have sans serif. This one has sans serif by default. Serif fonts, let me take a look at Figma. Maybe I can find any serif fonts. This is example of serif font, the one that has this sharp edge. You can see. I click on it. If you click on it, you'll be shown the way it's going to look like. You can see this one has sharp edge here. Okay, what's the name of this one? Libertinous Math or something. Don't know. So let's search for here. Libertinous Math. All right. You can see now that it has this sharp edges like this. These are the font that we call serif. Okay. And the one that does not have this sharp edge I always call sans serif. That's just one thing you want to keep in your mind, because sometimes the designer may be talking about which one do you use, serif or sans serif. Okay. And then we have where you can change the font. I already showed you that. This is 40 pixels. You can make it maybe 32 or something like that. And here you have line height. Okay. You have letter spacings. You have line height. You have alignment. Now, this line height, this is, okay, let's talk about this regular. This is called font family, right? And this is called typeface. Am I even correct? This is called typeface. Yeah, this is called typeface. This is called font family. So what we have interesting is this one, typeface. I don't want to use this one because this one only have only one available and regular. But let me use this one. This is what? This is Oswald. You can see this one has extra light. This one has light. This one has regular and so much medium, and you can make it bold. All right. The one that does not have all these features, all these options, that means you cannot bold it. Even if you press Ctrl B on your keyboard, it can be bolding. It will just be like that. It can be bolding. And then we have line height. Let me show you what line height means. You know, when I talk about these particular edges, say that this is used to calculate line height. So now, if you want to increase the way it is, maybe you want to increase the spacing between the first line and the second line. This is the first line. Okay, that's after a paragraph. The next line is the second line. So if you want to increase the line height, you can just increase it this way. You can see that it's increasing. And sometimes this can help boost the usability. If you have a long text and it's too close to each other, then it will be hard to read. But if you increase the line height, it will be easy to read. Most commonly, I set heading text to 150% of the original line height, and then I set description to like 140, depending on the font. Okay, but this one is not an issue. I don't think that this one is too voiding. We can make it to be like maybe 120 or something like that, like this. All right, and we have letter spacing. Letter spacing is just the spacing between one letter and another. We have H here, we have E here, we have L here. So if you increase the letter spacing, now you can see that it's increasing. Okay, that's letter spacing. And which other one do we have again? Just 1 minute. Okay, let me just continue. All right. So, and we have alignment. You can see now it's aligned to the left. That's how we have it here. You can set it to center like this. To be aligned to the center, and it can be aligned to the right too, like this. All right. And we have, this is horizontal alignment, and this is vertical alignment. This one is if you have a large paragraph like this, okay, then you can line it to the center like this, and then to the end like this, okay. That's if the line height is set to fixed. So this one can be used on only fixed size. I think auto height too. No, it can be used on auto height, only fixed size. All right. And you have more settings, of course. If you click on type settings here, you can see you have more settings. You can make it underline, right? Strike through or overline or something like that. You can play around with those settings there. And we want to set it to uppercase. You can set it, let me remove this line, let me remove this underline. None. You want to make it lowercase, sentence case, and so on and so forth. So the vertical trim, if you want it to be, if you want this line height to be close to the edge of this down line, right? If you want it, you want to remove all this spacing, then you can use vertical trim for that. As you can see, the vertical trim now is standard. Okay, if you change it to cap height to baseline, you can see what we have now. You can see that all this extra spacing, they are cut out. But be careful with this because some of these things are not available in coding. So if you do this thing with most of your text, it could be hard for the developer to come to realize it with code. Okay, and then we have list style. If you're dealing with list, you can put it to bullet list and you can put it to number list, so on and so forth. And you can play with all of these things. We have paragraph spacing. Paragraph spacing, if you have multi-paragraph, you can increase the space here. You have truncate text. Okay. This truncate text is like if you have, the way it works is like this. Let me use this one for example. This one is too big. If you have this, your line height set to fix. By the way, once you manipulate your line height, the height of your text by itself like this, it will change to whatever you're from, whatever it is here to fixed height, because Figma will think that you want to set it to fixed height. That's why you are adjusting it manually, because by all of these ones, this one and this one is always automatic. That's why it's with auto width and auto height. But if you adjust it manually, it will be set to this fixed size. Okay, so you can see now that this one is typed, right? But then the line height is not up to that particular place again. So you can put it to truncate text like this. So this way now, it will be shown to the user that there are still more text, but they are not just within this line. Okay, so play around with this. Okay, you have more settings that you can play around with actually, but I've explained most of the most important stuff here. Okay, this typography, take note that it's only available with typography. You can't be applying a property of typography to something like maybe shapes or frame tools or regions tools. No, these are just for typography, and that's how it can only make sense. Okay, let me now show you a little bit about this text to path. This one is not hard. This one is if you want your text to follow a particular way. Now, we only have the horizontal vertically way of making our text go. But if you want it to curve somehow, how can you do that? This is how you can do it. So let me just bring a shape. Let me bring this ellipse, and I'm going to press Shift on my keyboard to get the perfect circle, and I'm going to draw it. Suppose I want to make my text come like this. Yeah, I can use this to achieve that. This text to path to achieve that. I don't do this all the time, but let me see if I still know how it works. So I'm going to just press on text to path. You can see now. So you are just going to draw the shape, and then you are going to click on the text to path, and then you hover around the edge of your shape, no matter which one it is, and then you can start typing. You can see now that this shape has been converted to a path that the text could follow through when you are typing. Let's see. Let me just type cool. First of all, I'm going to highlight it. I press Ctrl A to highlight it so that I can change the text so that you can see it. Text color so that you can see it. Otherwise, you won't be able to see it. Cool. We can now type as if we are journeying through the world. All right. Now the word is kind of circular. Okay. So this is what that one is for. You can see it's very simple. You can do the same thing with any type of shape of a choice. You can play around with that. So I'm going to stop this lecture here. And our next video, we are going to talk briefly about, probably about auto layer or something. And I will see you there so that we can be able to do our first assignment. I think this is okay for this week. Okay, so I want to close this week with auto layout. And I'm going to see you there.